Yeah, to go Kendrick this week.
And that's an automatic classic. That is an automatic. Bitch, I'm attracted. Like that's an automatic classic. Fuck around, make a song. Everybody's all over that. It's one of those rare ones that I'm with the crowd on this one. You got to get.
Let me ask you a question.
Let me
ask you a question.
When you pick these, coming? I smell the K. Hate coming.
No, it's not a hot take. It's more of like
K. Hate is what I smell coming.
Oh no, I don't give a shit. He's more of like a guy. Like I think he's on the list of guys that he exists to me. You know what I mean? Like there's no like hate, there's no love. He just exists. Like
I'm glad you acknowledge his existence.
Like I'm glad he's alive, kind of thing. Like I hope you stay alive. Hope family's well. Keep doing your own thing with your little music thing. But to say I love
with your little music thing.
Where to say that I love him.
No, it's not K. Hate. But let me go ahead and.
No, it's not hate. It's like you put his songs on. I'm not gonna be like fuck this. I hate this guy. You put his songs on. I'm not gonna be like oh my god, love him, Jesus. Like I just feel like you've had a constant string of guys that I don't fuck with, but I don't hate. Like it's just like boop. It's like he's there.
Listen, some guys that revel in the artistry and the talent and the story and the lyrics. Other guys like to continue to hear about hoes, money, and rims, and
that's not me.
Again, that's great.
If you picked a hoe, money, and weed one, I think a couple weeks ago, and I just didn't care. Like it's
when it slaps and it's art, but I have a certain respect for the J. Coles, the K. Dots, and here's my hot take. We're turning it into the show and taste where they retired their hip hop section, so we'll go ahead and take a quick take it over for a minute here. And K. Dot's album, this album, better than Future's.
No, I don't care. Like that's a good take. Like again, Future, another guy. Don't care.
I'll even throw Future's album wasn't that great.
I mean, not a hot take at all. I think it was good. The reason why I thought it was good the first time around, it's like, oh, Future, masculinity, all these feminines. You got your do desserts.
Listen, everybody got uncomfortable with the do desserts. Everybody got uncomfortable, dude, with the okay, whatever. He got deep. Kendrick got a little real on this one, right? He talked about being sexually abused.
You're taking it. This is like one of those times where people are like, you don't put somebody in your top 5, you're disrespecting him. No, I just don't care. Like he is to me a rapper that is alive who does rap. Congratulations on your success. You use
the term his little music thing. Is that demeaning or not?
No.
Is that demeaning that's demeaning to my man or not?
I'll say it in Future. I'll say it to who's another guy that I don't. Jack Harlow. I don't really care. Like they're alive to me.
Good luck with the podcast thing. I'm out.
All right. It'd be a lot quieter and shorter, but
not as many views though. Not as many views, and not taking us all the way to the mountain. That's for sure. Not taking us all the way.
All right. Yeah, this is the K. Dot thing again. This is like
we're splitting hairs. Understand artistry.
We're splitting hairs now, so
we'll get all on this because we do have some serious stuff to cover.
Welcome to Face of the Franchise. I'm your host, Michael the Pharaoh Shanuti. That is also the host, Lil Joe Ooh, always to my front. And today we have a special guest.
Majority host.
He's gonna come in. Karim, you guys, a reoccurring guest. He is gonna talk Titans football.
I checked. He hasn't been on in 8 months, but we do have our Titans Insider Kareem coming on back.
We're gonna probably redo everything. We're gonna probably bring a lot of guys back. I think I'll reach out to Nadu again. I need to talk to him. We actually try to get somebody else. I'm not gonna spoil it. She might come on. She was in the DMs, not like that, but like
she got back.
She got back. She was just like, I've been busy.
I didn't hear. Was this today?
So. This is today. This is breaking news to your face. So you know who it is.
So you know it is.
Don't say anything. Don't say anything. If she comes on, I have a bone to pick with her with the Miami Heat. We're gonna make it into a whole thing. So
what did she say? Again, I don't think this is spoiling anything, but what did she say on that shot? Because I agree with you that everybody's giving Jimmy shit for it. That was a shot to take. He was wide open.
No. Jimmy hate on the shot. It was more on the Heat in general.
Okay.
It's just like. It was just more so like this organization didn't deserve to be there kind of thing. Like the Celtics should have ran through them, blah, blah, blah. Like it was takes that like even the casual fans wouldn't have. Like
she's just doing what she's always done.
She's just a Boston. It was like how people just became Boston fans overnight. And it's just like that's how it is.
Probably has something to do with her. This might be a little too revealing, but I don't care. Might have to be something with her old boss, probably being a fan of that team as well. But all right, I do want to talk first things first. Rest in peace, Marion Barber.
Oh man.
Yeah.
Not again. No, here's the deal. There's not a lot of Cowboys players I respected. Marion Barber was one of them. The play that
Agreed.
I remember fondly, and I think everybody remembers fondly, is when he played against the Patriots. The run in the end zone that he took all the way. It should have been a safety. Let's just start with that. It should have been a safety.
Yeah.
7 dudes at him in the end zone. He broke every single one of them. I think, if I remember correctly, because I keep getting his run and Tony Romo's run confused. I think he got the first down. And the other one,
I believe you're correct.
Tony Romo was the one who got 2
Cowboys
yards.
Fan brother who constantly reminds you of this stuff, and when he shouts it constantly, it sticks in your brain.
Yes. So Marion the Barbarian had I don't want to say illustrious career. He had a couple good years.
Yeah.
He kind of middled around there. I didn't to be honest, he was one of those guys that I don't remember actually retiring, but I remember when he faded. And I think it's when DeMarco Murray came and took his job. And unfortunately, man, I mean, too young, too soon, man. And yeah.
It was a tough one, man. Definitely somebody that, like you said, put some great years together, which is, I mean, again, you're in the 1 percentile of talent of football players in the world. All respect to him. I agree with you. Despite my bias written all over me, it was one of the few players that I did respect on how he played the game, how he approached it, how he was in post-game interviews. Dude was always very put together, rather. Yeah, he won you a couple fantasy games here and there too when you snuck him in that lineup. Definitely a great flex guy at a certain time, but more important than that, was a great man on and off the field. So salute to him, hats off. Rest in peace, Marion Barber. And then another one that went way too young. We're seeing too much of this, especially in, I think, the professional sports field, or just celebrity in general. This is something that tends to kind of happen. Jeff Goundy passed, Viking safety. I believe age 24 or 25 nude.
25. So
yeah,
for a little background, he was in Washington, University of Washington, became a very good Pac-12 player, got drafted first rounder by the Cardinals, and then got released, and now he was going to try to revive his career in Minnesota. Unfortunately, car accident. You hate to see it. Nothing really has been said about, was he drunk? Was the other person drunk? Blah, blah, blah. It's kind of those situations where you just have to say, man, life is too short. Take every minute of your life, like as it's your last, and enjoy yourself. Because this guy was living a dream. He was going to start a new life. And boom, everything was taken away from him. Kind of like Dwayne Haskins. Kind of like, I don't know, whatever happened with Demaryius Thomas and Marion Barber. They had their lives pretty much set after football, and then it's all taken away. It's sad to see, and it's been coming around a lot more. Like you said, celebrities and athletes dying at a very young age. I don't know what's going on, but yeah.
I mean, not to get too deep in the weeds with it, man, but I hardly ever share this stuff with you, let alone anybody. Karim, welcome back again. Karim is back with his plug-and-play quarterback.
What's up, guys? How you doing?
What's up?
Doing well. You came in on a tough topic. We were just talking about the passing of Marion and Jeff Goundy a couple weeks back as well. If you wanted to say anything about them or what those players meant to you.
Hey, it's been a tough offseason. I feel like this offseason more than any other offseason. It's almost like the violence has gone up in the world in general, not just in the football world, but in the football world, we've had some serious tragedies that have fallen upon us. Marion the Barbarian, he was a fun watch back when I was in probably high school now.
Yeah.
And I'm sure you guys already brought up the greatest 2-yard run of all time, but he would just truck through dudes. I mean, it was fun to watch him, and I say this as a bona fide Cowboy hater, but it was fun to watch him play.
Yeah. It was. He was something special. And then we were getting into Jeff Goundy, who passed away at 25, trying to restart that career as a safety over at Minnesota, got drafted by the Cardinals, and kind of just breaking down, man, exactly what you were saying, Kareem. Good to have our Titans insider back on the show. Is that it seems like not even just professional athletes, but young celebrities as well. This tends to happen to quite often, and it's only increasing in what's an increasingly confusing world. And so what Nude was getting into and what I was going to share with the audience, I actually, I never share personal stuff like this. Excuse me. But I lost a family member of mine last week due to drugs. And it's just something that you got to really remind yourself of, to really take every moment and live like it's your last. Like you were saying, Nude, like this life is special, and it's fleeting, and you got to really remind yourself to give everything you got and care to your last breath, and bring life like all these people did, including my cousin and Marion and Jeff Goundy as well. So I just wanted to share that, and just remember, I know we don't get serious on the podcast like this at all.
No, it's just funny because, like you said, you shared your personal stuff, and just remember next time when you guys are watching your NFL teams, it could be worse. I know I know that says that to me, who more than likely is gonna scream at the Steelers TV more than anyone. But yeah,
maybe when you're ready to hang yourself and jump off a 24-story building, Dude, remind yourself and that life.
When Kenny Pickett gets into the game, there's no guarantees.
It's okay if those small hands drop a ball or two, because they won't, because he's got those thick fingers. Never forget. But let's go ahead. Let's move right along, and rest in peace to all those players. Our heart goes out, and just remember that every moment.
Amen.
Amen. Absolutely, brother. Thank you, Kareem. And we're happy to have you on. Kareem, how you been doing, man? Welcome back.
Hey, I've been great. I've been great. I'm happy to be back with you guys. Like I said, I've been a listener for a while, and I've missed coming on the show with you guys, and I can't wait to talk some football with you guys. I've been good. I've just working from home and hanging out, man. Just chilling.
You got some beautiful artistry there in the background. We were talking about K-Dot's artistry a little bit earlier, and Nude, for whatever reason, was disrespecting K-Dot. We don't have to get back to that again. But tell us about this little artwork you got back there, Kareem. I like that.
That is a funny story, actually. Yeah, that is a rendition of a Renoir. It is one of my wife's. It's my wife's favorite painting, and that was my wedding gift to her, to get it copied, and to have a copy in our home. And it's something that'll last forever, and hopefully I'll be able to hand down to my kids one day. So yeah, it's her favorite painting, and it's hanging here behind me.
That's beautiful, man. That's Kareem, pure heart, pure soul, and what a perfect gift, man. That's why you got to have a good guy like Kareem on the podcast, because we're scumbags, dude. We need a little purity.
Oh yeah,
we need a little true heart on here. He may be a plug-and-play guy like his quarterback, but there's love there.
Listen, hey Ben, we'll get into all that later. I see like all of your little silent jabs, but I'll get into all of it later. Don't worry. We got plenty of time.
I need backup, Kareem. That's all I'm gonna say. I need backup with a lot of different takes for the Titans. Let's just say that.
Oh yeah, absolutely. I'm happy to give all the takes out. Yeah, I can't wait.
Spoiler right now, I do not have the Titans winning your division, which is arguably the worst division in football besides my division.
No. I can't. No. They're not the worst division in football. Stop. Go. No. They're not even close to even the second. So
Kareem's not in his head. He seems to agree with me.
It's a bad division. I'm not gonna lie to him.
Is it bad? Is it worse than NFC?
There's worse divisions, but it's a bad division. I would not call it the worst.
NFC West? Is it worse than the NFC West? Is it worse than the NFC South?
It's pretty close. It's pretty close.
West, NFC South, AFC, your division.
I would say right now it is at least the two worst divisions are NFC East, AFC South.
Those are the two worst.
I would say the NFC South is a little bit worse. Atlanta's bad, man.
And Atlanta is bad.
Atlanta's in a they don't even know who their quarterback is.
But there's some redeeming qualities to the NFC South where I just don't have.
He's gonna say, you know what he's gonna say? He's gonna say Jameis. That's what he's gonna say at the end of this fucking rant. I know exactly what you're gonna do.
As long as Drew Brees doesn't come back, that's not the worst division. Out of here. But let's go ahead before we get too into the wormhole.
I'm in the worms now, man. You gassed me up.
I'm gonna take you back a little bit. I'm gonna dial it back. Let's talk golf. Let's talk golf, ladies and gentlemen, aka just my gentleman here. This match happened yesterday. Obviously, we had A-Rod, we had Tom Brady just go ahead and dick all over the Young Bucks. But I want your take here. Kareem, did you see I think it was pre-interview, Josh Allen goes, well, I don't normally eat before games. I only really eat if it's a late game and I'll have some breakfast in the morning. And you better believe I'm throwing up before every single game.
I did see that.
What? How? What? I mean, I can barely focus on anything if I skip breakfast. I don't understand how this man functions, how he plays at the level he does, and he has to take a pre-game ritual puke before every single game.
Listen, there's been a lot of different traditions and rituals and everything like that. He's in Nissan Stadium right now. So
he just pulled up out of nowhere. There we go.
Listen, when I saw this, I'm not surprised. So there's been a lot of different rituals out there: basketball, football, hockey, baseball, to the point where it makes you think, like, do you really play after that? And you're like, there's some people bash their head against the wall. People eat certain things before a game. I know, what's his name? Was it Pete Carroll? It has to be Pete Carroll. It says he has to chew 7 pieces of gum through the game. Like, he has to do it because that's his ritual. That's his superstition.
Sure. At least give me this is the strangest ritual you've ever heard of.
No. Throwing up is not. Throwing up is definitely not. There's been stupid shit like I have to take the same route no matter when. Like, there's traffic. I have to do this. I have to pee in the same toilet. I have to it's literally asinine to the point where it's like you're doing something and you think it has an effect, but it really, really doesn't. Puking makes sense because you're nervous for the game. You want to win these games. You get go. I think
Josh Allen has an eating disorder.
He might.
Josh Allen has an eating disorder.
He's still the biggest, probably one of the biggest quarterbacks in the NFL. So
I think he probably does it because my guess, and this is all us just guessing, right, is he probably had a lot of games where he threw up mid-game. So he started to just do it before the game so that it doesn't happen mid-game. Josh Allen, I don't know if you know this, but he's a pretty low profile dude. So him being in the spotlight and being a top 5 quarterback in the NFL is not something that I think, it sounds weird to say, but it's not, the stardom is not something I think he wanted for himself because the magnifying glass is on him, which is something that I don't think he likes because he's just not that type of person. If you listen to him through college, that's not who he was. And I think he doesn't know how to act now that the spotlight is on him.
Right.
So something as simple as throwing up before the game, I think he's probably just doing because there were a lot of games where he threw up mid-game and he was like, all right, let me just do this so that it doesn't happen in the middle of the game.
I guess. Now it's part of his foundation. It's in his core now, right? The only thing, as you were saying this, I'll give him a little bit of a slack here because swim practice every single time, guaranteed, I'm puking up halfway through. Especially on if it was a competitive swim team or we're doing training for Junior Olympics or whatever the case may be, you best believe I'm puking. So, to me though, to not to eat, then to puke, there's some concerns there. Nude is right. He is a big old boy. He probably does the nude method, which is I don't eat all day until 7 o'clock. And
no, that was back in the day. Now I eat 7 times a day. I'm back to 7 times a day.
Oh, thank God you didn't tell me that. I was very aware the first 2 years of this podcast. You didn't consume food until 8 o'clock at night.
I got to the point where I was so busy I forgot to eat. But now I'm back to normal. We're good. Thank you for your concern. But yeah, I'm not too worried about Josh Allen. The guy's winning games. The guy's an MVP candidate. If that means I have to puke to be an MVP candidate, stick fingers down my mouth. I'm ready to go. Kenny Pickett, I'm looking at you.
So Joe, did you watch the rest of the match?
He didn't watch. I didn't think he only watched the highlights. Did you watch the rest of the game? The rest of the golf?
Dude, it was bad. I had it on for an hour and a half, and then I was like, well, the 4 of these guys suck at golf. All of them. Suck.
Oh yeah.
Mahomes started off hot, and then he was terrible, missing putts. And Brady sucks at golf. Like, he talks a lot of shit, but he is terrible at golf.
Yeah, I mean, like, if you saw, like, I don't know anything about golf, boys. I'm gonna be straight up with you. Like, know nothing. But I knew, sitting at the bar with my buddy, that Mahomes' swing was the ugliest fucking thing I've ever seen in my whole entire life. I thought he was gonna swing it around, give himself a fucking concussion.
No, well, did you see what happened?
Season over for the Chiefs.
Charles Barkley and JJ Watt were joking, but it's half serious. I thought they were gonna actually hit somebody and kill somebody. They actually hit a couple fans. Like, there's a video of a guy holding a camera, and the guy next to him got hit with one of the balls. And Charles was like, we might actually see somebody die on a live sporting event for, like, the first time ever. And it's like, I was like, oh, okay. Like, at first I was like, Aaron Rodgers kind of has, like, some sort of swing to him, and then he sucked. And then, like you said, Kareem, like, Mahomes is trash. Brady was absolute trash. Thank God he was good at football. And Josh Allen just, like, I don't know.
Josh Allen's bad too.
Josh Allen was trying to hit it as.
Aaron Rodgers was actually decent. He was the only one that I think has plays golf.
Oh yeah.
The other three, they were just like Brady, and I didn't understand, like, and maybe because I don't know golf well enough, they would all hit it into the fans, and then all of a sudden the ball's on the fairway. Were they just being nice? Like, I don't understand. That's not how
they
golf
greased
works.
up the grass a little bit. They made sure that all the courses were downhill. I don't know.
Right.
So to let you guys know what they were playing best ball. So whoever got to the ball, like the first ball, if it lands on the fairway, that's where they hit it. They don't hit it from where they hit it on the golf pass. Does that make sense? So, like, when you play that, let's say Mahomes hit it on the fairway and Josh Allen shanks it, you just go where Mahomes hits it. So.
Oh, so they're playing some bullshit as golf.
Bullshit.
That's what it sounds like.
Bullshit.
Sounds like it's not golf.
My only other issue with this, because we talked about golf way too long on this podcast, is, and I never want to do it again, is like, if they're saying these are the top 4 quarterbacks in the league, I think there's a serious problem. And I think a certain quarterback from the Baltimore Ravens needs to be part of this next year instead of disrespecting.
Shut the fuck up. They don't let running backs be quarterbacks. Of this
generation, and we'll likely go down
running back.
Who?
Running
back. Who you talking about? Who's running back?
Who you talk? Joe Flacco, right? You can
J.K. Dobbins is running back. J.K. Dobbins is running back.
Joe Flacco,
they got a great quarterback in Lamar Jackson.
Joe Flacco actually did something. We're not talking about some pussy ass bitch who doesn't know how to.
Oh, you admit that Joe Flacco is elite now?
No, I will give you Joe Flacco won a Super Bowl like Trent Dilfer.
After 3 years, Joe Flacco is elite.
We'll suck one person.
He's going to make Zach Wilson the best quarterback of all time.
Ed Reed. That's it. After Ed Reed, nobody else. Ray Lewis is a murderer, a double murderer. Ray Rice beat the shit out of his wife. Terrell Suggs, I don't even know what Terrell Suggs is. I tell you
every single time, Ray Lewis found God. He's fine. Okay? Ray Lewis accepted God.
So if I go kill somebody with my car and I said, in the name of the Father, the Son, and the Holy Spirit, I'm off? Come on, man.
Murder's done.
Next time.
Murder's be done.
Next time. Next time. Deshaun Watson with his 23 cases, all he's got to say, I found Jesus. And then he's going to find the field this year. Go ahead. Go ahead.
That is a problem. That is a problem. And thankfully, there is one quarterback who's straight and narrow, great talent, and off the field,
my organization from 2021, from 2022 on, will never ever employ anybody of that nature ever. From 2021.
Speaking of people that want to call the greatest quarterback of all time, Kaep works out for the Raiders.
No, skip this shit. I'm done with this shit.
Did you
this
just
is a PR move.
Leave it on there so you could say skip it?
No, because I want to say one thing only. They did this because of John Gruden. If John Gruden didn't do the shit that he did, they wouldn't have never done it. He's not going to be on the team. I hate to be that guy. It's just not going to happen. Like, this is a formality. This is just a formality. Like, it's just a formality. PR move.
It's good. I wish I could argue with you and say it wasn't, but we have literally heard no news since the workout. It was like they're having a workout, and then I haven't even heard if the workout went well, if it went poorly. Just no news in like a week and a half, 2 weeks.
This guy had an open gym.
I think you're right. It's a PR move.
100%.
John Gruden and the Davises have had problems with racism. This was a way to condone that and be like, oh, Kaep.
You're fine now, right?
I told you.
Forget about all the inbounds and all the suggestive hiring choices.
The biggest lie I've ever heard in my entire life was Pete Carroll said, I would hire Kaepernick, but I have this guy named Russell Wilson. Well, guess what, bitch? You have Drew Lock and Geno Smith. You can use Kaepernick if you really wanted to, buddy. And guess what? Not one phone call. So I don't want to hear this anymore. This is ridiculous. Stop using this guy as a pawn. Let him just go play in the Canadian Football League at this point.
Speaking of more bullshit, Rooney Rule expansion, dude. I'm gonna let you go ahead and get in here.
Again. We're just tossing.
More PR.
You guys are not.
More words.
Listen, I'm so. This is a kind of a bittersweet thing. What I'm about to say. Sweet because the Steelers got him, but bitter because he shouldn't have been on the Steelers. Brian Flores should be a head coach in the NFL. Point blank.
Yeah.
But
we all agree
at this point, he's got lawsuits. He's never going to be employed as a head coach, even if he wins. Whatever. Thank you God that he's on the Steelers. I thank God every day for it. But at the same time, it shouldn't have happened. It should never have happened.
He should have 100%. He should have a head coaching job. It's just disgusting. I mean, to see how they continue and why this cap thing and the Rooney Rule expansion kind of all goes together along with Flores, because it's once again the NFL covering their own ass. It's basically like Fruit of the Loom coming out and supporting Black Lives Matter. It's the same fucking thing to make smooth over good PR after some shitty PR.
Right.
It's disgusting. It's bullshit. This is what big corporations do. We live, like we said at the top of the show, we live in a confusing, gross, disgusting world. And this is just more of it.
Go ahead, Karim. Do you have anything to add?
No, you're absolutely right. The one thing I'll say about Flores with him being a coach is I think if he leads the Steelers to like a top 5 defense, they'll look past the lawsuits. Like I hope you're right. The only reason I say that is because it's tough to find culture-changing men to lead football teams.
Yeah.
And Brian Flores is someone who will come in and change the culture. I mean, he did it in Miami.
Yeah.
Like Miami, let's not forget, before he got there, Miami was a 2-win team.
Right. Mm-hmm. So within a year, they're a legitimate threat.
Yeah. So I think it hindered him this year. And clearly we see there's a problem when we saw, the text thread between him and Bill Belichick. But I'm hoping that with success, I mean, I didn't think he was going to get a job with the Steelers. To be honest, I didn't think he was going to get a coaching job. I was surprised that he got a coaching job. But the fact that he got a foot in, I think if he has success will speak louder than the lawsuit.
Well,
and maybe that's more hopeful than truthful. But
that's a beautiful, optimistic take. But unfortunately, it is a pessimistic world, especially when it comes to the NFL. I pray and hope you are right because I'm an optimistic soul as well.
I pray and hope you're right too. A top 5 defense would be lit. It'd be great. But I honestly, it's
a solid chance that happens for sure.
It's like kind of like how would you say? It's kind of ironic, or I guess.
Dude, I'm taking my first bathroom break on the pod in like 6 months. Sorry, bud.
I'm gonna do the quick hits while you're doing that.
Yeah, you hit the quick hit.
But it's kind of ironic, or it's kind of like actually very like poetic justice. The team that did the Rooney Room got him into the door, giving him a shot. So I'm excited. I'm ready to go. But now it's time for quick hits. So basically what we do is just run through this, give one take, Kareem. So this has been 2 weeks of just a break. So we're going to run through everything. So Jarvis Landry signing with the Saints back to his hometown. I think that's great. I think he's going to teach a lot to Chris Olave and to the young guys. What do you think?
Jarvis is good. I think he was the best available receiver left on the wide receiver market. So the fact that the Saints snagged him up, I think he's going to be able to be a good veteran in that room with Michael Thomas and Chris Olave.
Yeah, nice. And then
hold up, Kareem. You're underplaying that shit. Hold up a goddamn second. Hold up a goddamn second. I'm not going to let you. You tried to sneak this while I went to the bathroom, so you couldn't hear my genius take. Excuse me for a moment. I'm 60% majority host of the show. Let me go. Jarvis signing 17-0 Saints. That's a lot guaranteed unless Drew Brees comes back.
That's why he won't submit that division to the worst.
All the way. We're going Wildcat with Alvin. It's going to be fucking beautiful. I can't wait.
All right. Jadeveon Clowney's re-signing with the Browns. Believes that he can win a Super Bowl with them. I do not believe they're going to win a Super Bowl ever.
Dude, I saw his post first, right? I saw his post on Instagram where he was like, "Let's run it back," and I want to comment and be like, "What are you running back exactly? Like, you're asking to make playoffs. Your defense was like middle of the pack. Like I don't understand what you're running back exactly. Like it's as if they were like close to making the playoffs or something. Like bullshit.
Zero.
Get out of here, dude."
Close. The Miami Dolphins were on top of them. Raiders were on top of them. Chargers were on top of them. We made the playoffs with the corpse of Ben Roethlisberger, and they're over there talking about running it back. I'm sorry, dude. Deshaun Watson is not going to see the field this year. I'm going to put a stamp on it. I'm putting a stamp on it right now.
I say this as someone who largely campaigned for Jadeveon Clowney 2 years ago to come to my football team. The dude made one tackle in college, and it was a game-breaking tackle.
Thank you.
And that's all everyone remembers. And they think Jadeveon Clowney, they think that tackle is what they're getting. Dude has not performed to that tackle level since that tackle.
That's an excellent point.
He has one season with double-digit sacks. He had the best defensive player at that time on the other side, and he couldn't do shit. You gave Bud Dupree, TJ Watt. What happened to Bud? Bud became this all-star, and I don't know. I mean, he had his injuries last year, but he still has some time. So I'm not bringing it up. I'm just proving a point.
Don't worry. I'll talk about my front four later. Don't worry.
I'm saying when you give somebody who has talent another talent, he should capitalize. Clowney is not a talent anymore. I want to hear his name. He's fucked.
I mean, I've never seen somebody live off one tackle and have a, 15, 20-year career afterwards. I mean, more like 10
bad.
It's insane. I mean, Jadeveon lives in Jadeveon's world. That's really it. I think the only person to get by on nothing is maybe like Paris Hilton, who just daddy's name, and she's had a 20-year career. So, I mean, no slight on Paris.
That's serious. I thought
fans that listen to the show, big Paris fans, but let's be honest here. Let's look at reality. Jadeveon and Paris, same world, same reality, and it's nonsense.
I literally thought you meant T.Y. Hilton, but you said Paris Hilton by accident.
No.
Okay. Next topic.
T.Y. deserves respect.
Next topic.
T.Y. deserves respect. Let's ignore the last 2 years.
Two legends of the game retired today, actually. Ryan Fitzmagic and Frank Gore. Frank Gore signed a one-year deal for the 49ers, says he's a Niner for life. Ryan Fitzpatrick couldn't sign with one team because he played for half the NFL. So as two guys who had Ryan Fitzpatrick as their quarterbacks, you guys can speak to him more than me, but for me, I love to admire things from afar. He was he was gunslinger-esque. You had feelings that he could break through at any moment. He just never did, but he had his moments. So you two, as the Fitzmagic fan club, go for it.
What did he do for me? Go ahead, Karim.
Look, Ryan Fitzpatrick was the quarterback for us when we were in our like real dog shit years, like the 2-win teams and the 1-win teams. So watching Fitzpatrick was fun because any throw could be an interception and any throw could be a touchdown. It was a gamble. Like every throw you're watching, you're like, oh, it's up in the air. Is it picked or is it a touchdown? And almost all of his throws were like that. So he was a lot of fun to watch. He was definitely fun to watch on a 2-win team because he would at least chuck the ball up there. So, Fitzpatrick was fun. And if you had a solid defense around him, Fitzpatrick was more than capable of winning you football games. If you didn't, though, you're going to win 2 games.
He was really the magic 8-ball of quarterbacks. That was Fitzmagic. That was his magic.
And just to round it around with Frank Gore too. I mean, 2 of the Iron Men of football, 2 of the biggest Iron Men of football.
And we're not going to go without shouting out his knockout on his birthday as well. Frank Gore getting the boxing career, got a KO on his birthday, feeling great, retired as a 49er a couple weeks later. I mean, May is his month. This is his year. Let's go prove the inconvenient truth, baby.
Longevity and just being on that rushing list. He's in the Hall of Fame. So congrats to those 2. Also, a special congrats to a guy who had to retire due to some circumstances. My boy Stephon Tuitt, Notre Dame and Steeler legend. He did it after the passing of his brother. He graduated Notre Dame. He wants to go into different things. Even though I selfishly want him on the field, I think he he had to do what's best for him and his family. He's a smart guy. I just wanted to say that. So salute to it. You will be missed. You were one of my favorite players.
I think he's one of the sharpest players in the game too.
He was. I mean, like when we had our full strength defense, he was the anchor. So Cam, TJ, Minka, all of them, they're there still. But Tuitt's gonna have somebody's gonna have to fill Tuitt's role big time. So I hope it's Loudermilk. I hope it's Adams. I hope it's this new guy Lee that we got. So we'll see.
We got to talk a little bit on. We went ahead, talked about. Oh wait, we got one more signing. Did we talk about Jabir yet? Jabir Alexander extending his contract 4 years.
Top three corner in the NFL by far. He deserves it.
Yep.
Bad getter, and that's why probably they let Davante Adams kind of go, in my opinion. They saw a corner in a division with Justin Jefferson is more valuable than Davante Adams. So, in my opinion. And I'm not trying to say it like that, but it's kind of true. So, I mean, listen, in that division, you have some young stud wide receivers coming up. So you
wonder why I'm the majority host. You wonder why you're a terrible father. A terrible future.
Be honest. Okay, here, Kareem. I know we're going to talk about the wide receiver for you and you two and me, but you could turn out more wide receivers than you could do premier corners. All I'm saying.
Fair, but to say that
I'm just being honest.
You're saying right now Justin Jefferson is more valuable than Davante Adams.
No. I'm saying having Alexander on your team is more valuable than Adams. He's young too. Don't forget how young he is.
I don't know, man. For this Green Bay team, like we don't know what this Green Bay team is going to look like when Equinomius St. Brown is dropping touchdowns.
Hey, man. Lizard's still there. Don't forget my man Lizard. Alan Lizard, baby. Lizard is still there. You know how Lizard loves to catch those little out routes?
You don't replace a 15-target guy. Like, that's not replaceable.
It's rare. I don't have words on this show. I don't have I'm just so dumbfounded by what may be your dumbest take.
No, that is not a dumb take.
Franchise
Kareem, you know how much... Be honest. How much do I love Davante Adams?
I know you love Davante Adams. That's why I'm surprised by what you're saying. And this is no shade on Jair Alexander, but he was injured for a big portion of last year, and
I get it. But think about the amount of good wide receivers to good corners.
I understand what you're saying.
How many corners can you name that's elite to how many wide receivers that are elite?
I see what you're saying. I understand and I agree, but I don't think this is a situation like Davante Adams. We haven't seen a receiver who is averaging almost 15 targets a game in a long time.
I understand that point.
Yep.
I get it. I do 100%.
This is worse than
this is also
Block was going to win the Broncos 5 Super Bowls.
This is also kind of a thing of like, do you want the 20? What is Davante Adams? He has to be 28, 29, right? You want that guy who's going to command the money that wide receivers commanding now with Aaron Rodgers, and then let the defense be depleted, or you pay Aaron Rodgers, which you did, and then keep the young corner. Yes, he's coming off an injury, but I probably put in the top 3. Like, let's be honest. I put him right behind Jalen, and I put right behind White. Maybe, I don't know. Like, I have to sit down and list all the corners, but he's up there in at least 3 or 5.
So Josh Lambo is suing the Jags, and I'm tempted to do the same to Michael DeFaro-Shanuti for defaming the character and the integrity of this podcast.
It's not a bad take.
I'm inspired by Josh Depp.
It's not a bad take.
Same team. That was fucking terrible. But moving right along.
2 rings, baby.
And I get what you're saying, but Josh Lambo goes ahead and sues the Jags more like he's suing Urban Meyer.
Yeah, this is.
I'll probably have my court date on the same day they do. What are we thinking here, boys? I mean, did you read the case a little bit? Is Josh going to win this case? Is this a little bit of the millennial crying wolf? What are we thinking here?
Me personally, I mean, like, I think it's a non-issue thing. Like, he's suing him because of what happened during a workplace thing for a guy that's not there anymore. So they'll settle something and then they'll move on. So.
And just be clear, former kicker for the Jacksonville Jaguars.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know if you guys know what happened, but Urban Meyer treated him in a pretty shitty way. Like, no one should be treated like that as a human being, let alone in the workplace.
Right.
So, like, he definitely has a right to be suing the Jaguars for a hostile work environment, because it absolutely was a hostile work environment under Urban Meyer. And I mean, Michael will tell you, I was the first to say Urban Meyer's a train wreck hire. I hope this guy never gets fired. Like, this guy might be the most overrated coach I've ever, like, he's just a terrible, awful human being.
Right.
Awful human being.
Not the exact opposite of one of those guys that will come in and be a integral leader for your team that you're talking about.
Oh, yeah. Exactly.
Yeah. So, yes, Lambeau has every right to be suing the Jaguars, and he's probably going to win it, and they'll probably settle because they don't want to go to court because it was a terrible work environment.
Yeah, I mean, from everything we did here, Kareem makes a solid point. Coming in on fire in the show, by the way, Kareem. I like it. You're ready to go. You're ready to have a third seat, huh? But no, I like it. Seriously, though, man. I mean, that's a great point, because I mean, that's all we heard coming out of this camp, right? Is that he basically is not only mentally abusing them, but he's like tearing them down to a just beyond disrespectful level. I mean, it's almost like Dan Snyder was the head coach, and you can't make eye contact with him or piss while he's in the same building, which is what Dan does. But I mean, it was pretty disgusting. I don't know how this. I mean, kind of the old school football mindset is what I think rose this man through the ladder, and he never adapted and wasn't definitely right for the league whatsoever. Shout out to you for calling that right away. But yeah, I think Lambeau, when it's all said and done, does get something out of this suit. Urban Meyer, in case anybody didn't know, and you need to hear this bit in this podcast, he's done. Fucking disgusting. Let's get to schedule releases, boys. I'm done talking about that disgusting human being. Let's talk about it. Let's go first. Let's go over our team's schedules, how we feel about that. I'll go ahead and let the minority, the 40% owner of this podcast, go ahead and, well, more like 30%.
You're a bum.
Podcast, go ahead and tell how we feel about the Steelers schedule.
You're a bum. So we start off with, obviously,
at least I'm a majority owner of a podcast.
You're a bum.
That's gonna go.
You're a bum.
Probably $100 million podcast. We'll probably get a better.
You are a
and Caller Daddy combined.
You are a bum. So let me finish.
A genius bum.
Me personally, I don't care about
the bum that's gonna be wearing nothing.
This is what I said. This is what I already know. I already knew the teams we were playing at home, and I knew the teams we were playing away. I just wanted to see where exactly we line up in the sense of primetime games and who we get. If for now, the 8th time in a row, we're going to start the season off on the fucking road. So again, we go on the road, Cincinnati, and then.
Listen, buddy, you have nothing to complain about. The Steelers don't leave the East Coast this year.
I'm only complaining about one thing. That's it. Everything else.
I don't think that's ever happened in NFL history. Like, are y'all paying Bell or something?
One of the most cakewalk schedules in the whole entire league.
The only team we play on the West Coast, or the teams that we play on the West Coast, come to us because of how the schedule works. It's not my fault. And guess what? I want to be honest. Thank God they did that. Because once they pass Texas, the Steelers forget how to play football. They're playing cricket half the time. When they go to Los Angeles, fucking Oakland, to Las Vegas, they forget how to play football entirely. Mike Tomlin's brain shuts off.
You're excited about the
I
advantage
just
your
don't know
team
what's
got.
going on.
It's extremely fortuitous and will never happen again in the history of the league.
What?
You're excited about the opportunity advantage your team has in their schedule, which is extremely fortuitous.
There's nothing advantage.
You needed a definition of fortuitous, and will never happen.
All I'm saying is
take a bus to all of your destinations. What do you mean there's nothing advantageous about our schedule?
There's not. We still play the Bucks. We still play the Chargers. We still play the Bills. It's not like we don't play these teams. These teams still come to play us.
In your house at Heinz Field, where it's almost impossible to win. You guys have the Renegade music going all the time.
You're just
you're like the Golden State Warriors in 2015, just signing Kevin Durant and saying,
Everybody take a breath.
I'm win much. It's still tough.
I'm sorry that our division is so close together. Our division is so close together, and then we're playing the AFC East, which is pretty much next to us, and we're playing the Florida teams now this time around. And again, I don't know, like you said, I don't get how this schedule thing works, Kareem, of those teams you don't play in the division and whatever, those two random games. Somehow the Chargers come to us. I just don't get it. That's just, what do you want me to do? Apologize? Like
I noticed you're wearing a Fighting Cock bourbon T-shirt. Were you sipping some Fighting Cock before the show? Because that would explain you the whole entire show so far.
I might have had a thimble.
I might have had a thimble. Fighting Cock, and you have a clear-cut advantage. Period.
Thimble. I had a thimble. Continue. Your turn.
Go ahead. I want to hear how you feel about your Titan schedule. Go ahead,
Karim. So the schedule release, first thing I want to say about it is it's become one of the most overrated things in the NFL. It's incredibly annoying what they've created it to be. There's like fake Twitter accounts coming out where they make up bullshit rumors about schedules and everyone's sharing it on Twitter, including verified people, which I would say those verified people who are sharing these fake ass games need to be unverified. Like your check mark needs to be taken away. So I hate what the schedule release has come. The NFL makes it into something that it shouldn't be. Like, just tell me the games that I'm playing and tell me when they're playing, and don't be giving me leaks throughout the day. Like, just announce the goddamn schedule. No one's watching NFL Network for 3 hours to know their schedule when it's announced at 8:00 p.m. Like, I don't really want to hear Kurt Warner tell me about a Week 9 game in May. That doesn't make any sense. I shouldn't be talking about a Week 9 game in May.
Exactly.
So are you not a fan of like the Chargers little troll release they did or anything?
No, like it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. Like, and the reason I say this is because my head coach is Mike Vrabel. Mike Vrabel plays the team that they're playing next, and that's it. He doesn't care. The hardest part of our schedule last year was Kansas City, Buffalo, Los Angeles, Indianapolis, and New Orleans, all in a row. We were expected to go 2-3 in that stretch. We went 5-0. Talking about wins and losses in May is dumb. It doesn't make any sense. I don't care what our schedule is. We're going to be around 10 to 12 wins. We're going to win our division because this is what Mike Vrabel does every year. Every single year.
And look forward to the segment in about 15 minutes when we go over the AFC South schedule previews and predictions of their records.
You know what's funny, though? What Kareem just said I should have with Mike Tomlin, but I always say 5 or 6 wins no matter who's on our team. So continue.
Listen, my team, I think we got a fucking cakewalk this year. It is arguably the easiest schedule. I think pretty much all of the NFC East arguably has the easiest schedule. I think the Eagles, I said I wasn't going to say this on the pod, but they are possibly with that schedule. Again, Kareem, good point, not talking about wins and losses in May, but what they've done in the offseason, arguably the best offseason in the league. It's a little scary, but I think we could arguably go 4-0 to start off our season.
Could you imagine you losing to the Jaguars and Lions and go 0-2 and the amount of pain that this podcast would endure? Because if we go 0-2, we lost to the Patriots and Bengals. You guys would lose to the Jags and Lions, and it would just set fire to this entire city.
I might ask you to borrow some.
Let's go Potomac Commanders, baby. The Woodbridge Commanders. I love it.
The Dumfries Commanders.
The Dumfries, baby.
Dumfries. Yeah, we didn't talk about that. That was a bit of news where they bought land in middle of goddamn nowhere, Virginia.
3 of them.
For us, like me living in
DMV,
I want to go watch football games. I don't want to drive an hour and a half to go watch a goddamn football game.
Listen, I was so happy.
No one else wanted this. Maryland didn't want it. DC didn't want it.
One of them said Ashford. At one point, they said Ashford at some point. I was like, that is lit. I could just get drunk at my parents' house,
all year
walk to the stadium,
I would have lost my motor all year.
I would have been the biggest, like,
rare medical
game, not give a shit. I would go to tailgate, just to tailgate.
Yeah, like we would get those. I would have gotten those season tickets from your boy, even though they're probably impossible for him to sell right now. Yeah, so I mean, it's a cakewalk of a schedule in terms of where we're gonna end up in Northern Virginia because nowhere else wanted to deal with us. Dumfries is definitely terrible.
I love it.
I doubt there's anybody outside of the Nova area that's heard of Dumfries, Virginia, but it's gonna be on the map now. So that's exciting stuff. I want to get the fuck past this because my team embarrasses me no matter what the conversation topic is with them. Hardest, easiest schedules of the year. Let's go easiest first, boys. Who has the easiest cakewalk of a schedule?
Eagles.
New York Giants.
Hardest.
It's got to be the Eagles. I think the hardest is
it has to be the Chiefs or the Chargers. I forgot which one looked like they had the hardest.
The Chiefs is fucking disgusting. And then I would say probably, I would even say the Patriots right after that. Patriots and Bills, Kansas City top 3.
Oh, the Bills. The Bills play.
The
Bills are first of all on banner night against the Rams. Then they play all number one seed. They play the AFC North, which is our division. Us, the Ravens, Browns, and the Bengals. And then they play you guys, right, Kareem?
Monday Night Football, baby, week 2.
Always have a good game against them.
Manning brothers will be back too, boys. Let's go. We got more Manning brother coverage.
And then they play. Yeah, I mean, Jesus, like they have a. Not thinking about it, their schedule is like 49ers are still going to be pretty all right. Like, they just got to, and I think they travel the furthest, if I'm not mistaken. So
yeah. I mean, it's fucking brutal all around. I mean, those top 3 schedules, Bills, I think, do have the roughest traveling schedule. Kansas City, overall, I think, is facing the most 1 seeds from last year, and the Patriots are just packed with solid teams. There's not really one easy game. I mean, as they say, there's no easy game in the NFL. But, I mean, this is brutal schedules all around for what some people consider some of the Super Bowl contenders. And then, Eagles terrify the hell out of me because that is a cakewalk schedule. Again, like, it's just, I mean, what they did in the offseason in our division, the way it is, I'm being open and honest here. I normally want to take a bullshit hot take, but I just don't see anybody in the NFC East having a better record than the Eagles right now. I just don't.
What about you, Kareem? You agree with the hardest and the easiest?
Yeah, I do. The easiest is the Eagles, and this year for the Eagles is going to be interesting. It's this year, talking to a few of my friends who are Eagles fans, this is their year where they're just evaluating if their quarterback is their quarterback. They have surrounded him with all the talent he needs. They've revamped the defense. This guy doesn't have to do much to win football games, especially with the schedule that they have. So it's all about evaluating Hurts. If he's good, great. Spend those first 2 first-round picks next year on talent to surround him and make him even better. Yeah. If they decide that he's not the answer, you trade those 2 first-round picks and you move up and you go get yourself a Bryce Young.
Yeah.
And so they're set up very nicely to make noise for the next few years. And we'll get to the trade a little bit later, but yeah, they're set up very nicely. I like what the Eagles did this year.
Well, the biggest dumpster fire matchups, as we like to call it on this show, dumpster fire garbage shitball games, and best matchups that we're looking forward to coming into the NFL season.
The worst matchup, I mean, it's Jesus. The
Go ahead.
I'm gonna say the Jaguars and the Washington football team. This is ridiculous.
That or Washington football team. It's one
of the two. I mean,
Washington football team name determined. It's fucking
the best. The best is going to definitely be what I think is, and I know I don't want to. I mean, this is a hot take too soon. Whatever. It's the previous champs against probably everybody's pick to be the next champs. It's the Rams and the Bills. I mean, to start off the season, everybody believes the Bills have what it takes to beat everybody now. Now that they got Vaughn on defense, they revamped the offense a little bit more. Josh Allen moving to the next step. I think that's going to be a matchup. It's kind of a measuring stick for both teams. It's not like the Rams didn't do anything in the offseason. All they did was take away one wide receiver, got another good wide receiver, and then signed Bobby Wagner, who is a Hall of Famer, on their defense. So it's like the only thing that could change my opinion and my tone is if Aaron Donald retires, which I doubt. I'm going to say there's 20%.
I mean, he just signed to Donda Sports. What do you mean? Like, he's up. He's going to stay in the league for a couple more years.
We'll see.
He's good.
We'll see.
Donda's going to get that money. Don't worry.
What about you, Kareem?
So my issue with your take is something I believe is that week 1 in the NFL is not indicative of how team seasons go.
Yes.
If you look at recently, like week 1 winners, the winners from week 1 are actually usually bad and the losers are usually good. It's a very weird trend.
Damn it.
The reason that is because week 1, no one's in football shape, right? You haven't really, no one's really hitting in preseason. You're not hitting in practice. So all of the defensive players are still getting used to regularly tackling grown men. So it takes a while to figure out who's good and who's not. I'm not really going to panic about the Bills if they go on the road to Los Angeles and lose by 30.
No.
I'm not really going to panic about the Rams if they, lose a slugfest at home or lose 20 by Josh Allen. So
right.
Yes, that's a great matchup on paper, and I would have probably said it's the best matchup of the year if it was in week 9. Yeah, but it being week 1, it's just so hard to say any week 1 matchup is the best matchup because teams are not in form yet. No one's in form. Everyone's still figuring themselves out. I mean, they have a new offensive coordinator that is going to be calling his first game in week 1 against the defending champions.
And you make a great point. And every September, we're ready to crown a Super Bowl champion who ends up being 5-12 or 5-13 when it's all said and done. Or 5-12. So it's nothing different. I mean, it's the same thing. I think that fighting cock once again is getting a little ahead of himself.
Oh
That's
my!
okay.
You guys are taking it.
You guys are taking it.
You guys are putting face. I just said it's a good game. I didn't say it was because this is gonna. Whoever
here he comes in thinking Kareem's gonna have my back.
Everybody chill out. Everybody, Alexander is a good corner.
It's a street corner.
This is a good game. Fuck off.
So getting back to what you asked me, what are my games of the season? My games of the season are going to be every AFC West matchup. They should just flex all those to prime time.
Yeah,
they're all going to be good. All the teams improved. All the teams are really good. I can't wait to watch Herbert and Mahomes battle it out for the next 10 plus years. It's going to be a lot of fun. There's a lot of quarterback arm talent in that division. So it's going to be a lot of fun. Outside of that, give me the rematch of the Chiefs and the Bills from last year. That one's in a nice 4:25 time slot. I think it's like week 6 or week 7. It's somewhere around there. Those are the matchups I look forward to. Take off all the NFC East matchups. Like, I don't want the Giants on prime time. I don't want to watch that shit. Get that shit off my TV. Get all that shit off my TV.
You don't even
the amount of Cowboys Giant primetime games I've had to watch in my lifetime is absolutely unbelievable. So those ones, I think there's a Jets-Jaguars game. Get that shit off my TV. Lions, Bills, Thanksgiving. Get that shit off my TV.
That's just a shellacking. They're just feeding them to the wolves at that point.
So yeah, those are the ones that I have no inclination of watching at all.
Well, boys, it's time where we overanalyze in May the AFC South. Who is going to win the division? Who is going to be the worst in the division? It is our AFC South preview.
All right.
We are going to go one by one. You go from worst to best. Nude, did you have something to add there?
I was going to say, yes, Kareem will go last because this is his division. And I want him to crucify you for your stupid take. So I will go first, and you can go second, and he'll go third. So this is
good luck.
So
I'm not the one that thinks Devontae Adams is less valuable than Javier Alexander.
You took that. That's not what I said.
Dullard.
That's not what I said. But all right. So
it's basically what you said.
The last place team is going to be the Houston Texans. Unfortunately, that's just how it's going to go. They did equip themselves with young talent. I do like Minchie. I do like Pierce as the running back. They do have a big running back room. Davis Mills, I don't know what the fuck he is. Whatever it is. Yeah. And then Brandon Cooks, as reliable as they come. They have a good stability in coaching. I do love Lovie Smith. He is an average coach. I won't say he's a good coach, but a stability, disciplined coach. I think that's the guy that they needed. Defensively, they're not the worst. They're not the best. I just think they're going to be scrappy. I think it's going to be one of those teams that could pull a wool over your eye, win a couple games. It's still going to be like a 4-win team. I'm not going to put too much stock into them. But the team I have at surprisingly 6 wins and third in the division is the Jacksonville Jaguars. I do think Trevor Lawrence is going to improve. I do think Etienne being back is going to be a huge improvement. Listen, we can say all we want about the Christian Kirk contract. He's the best wide receiver that that they've had in a long time.
That wide receiver chart is pretty solid, bro. It's a bunch of slightly above average guys with sky is the limit potential.
Exactly. And then if you have a healthy Evan Ingram, that's a tight end's best quarterback's best friend is the tight end. So you
Still
have
an unproven
him.
guy, but
No. I mean, I'm not over here saying he's fucking Travis Kelce. He's better than O'Shaughnessy. Like that's all I'm saying.
Yeah.
And then your boy Brandon Sheriff is at left guard, so they improved that. So they're improving everything around him.
Right
Doug
guard,
Peterson, in my opinion, got a bad beat in Philly. So he has now a new quarterback, a new system that he can put in place for a good quarterback like Trevor Lawrence. So I think 6 wins is good. I think they improve steadily. Now, to the two heavyweights that I think me and Karim are on the same page, but Joe is not. I don't have this team going to the playoffs, but they win 9 games, and that is the Indianapolis Colts. Why do I have the Indianapolis Colts only winning 9 games? I do not think Matt Ryan is any bit of a big improvement than Carson Wentz, and here's why.
Carson Wentz. You can look at their defensive depth chart.
I can look at their defensive depth chart all they want, but when you have a guy who's not moving the ball downfield, putting the defense at 75% on the field, ask the Steelers how that worked for them. 8-8, baby. That's all we do. Keep it average. So doesn't matter if I have
you got a solid running back right behind you.
Ferguson. Doesn't matter if I have. It doesn't matter if I have Kenny Moore. Like Jonathan Taylor is the second best running back in the NFL, and they're still not going to do shit. Michael Pittman is a great wide receiver. Still not going to do shit. Frank Wright is a good coach. Now, is it going to come down to the wire with the Titans? It could. I just don't see a big improvement from Matt Ryan to Carson Wentz. That is the only reason why I have them lower than the Titans. And here's why I have the Titans above them at 11 wins. Like Vrabel is probably one of the better coaches in the NFL. And that is without a doubt.
We all agree on that.
Ryan Tannehill, to his credit, has done a lot. And I don't care what anybody says about this A.J. Brown shit. He has done great. He is going to do great. Derrick Henry is going to be fully healthy. The dude is running uphill faster than we could run downhill. Like that's insane. What I'm watching.
Relax.
Robert Woods is a better blocking wide receiver than what they've had in the past. He's going to do fine. And Burks was actually one of I think he was second wide receiver for me behind Wilson. So I actually do like Burks. I actually did say Burks. I said, whatever you want to say about Williams, no, it's not wild. And I think my boy, when he's healthy, Bud Dupree is going to do well. I know you're going to have to say stuff, and we all know who Bayard is. You know who he is. He is one of the better safeties. I don't know how you cannot say this team, if Ryan Tannehill continues on his path, Derrick Henry's healthy, doesn't win this division. They always find a way. So, that is my take. They win the division. They'll probably be the 3rd seed. Yeah, they'll be the 3rd seed. The 4th seed would probably be like whoever wins our division, whatever. So
you say an 11-6 team?
Yeah.
Okay, so here's how the AFC South is actually going to go down. I agree. I'm not going to spend too much time on the Texans and Jags. I agree with Nude. I have the Texans at about a 4-13. I like Davis a whole lot. I was a huge Davis guy last year. I would even want to try to turn this into a Davis Mills podcast. I love my man, but I think he needs a little bit more time to develop, a little bit more talent surrounding him, and the rest of that team.
Did he just drop?
Yeah.
It was the take was so bad that he dropped the call.
Yeah, he dropped. I guess he had connection issues.
Give me 1 second. Let me invite him back. This is funny as shit. It's so funny. All right. Dude,
all right, I'm back.
There you go.
All right, so anyway,
your check is gonna be so bad that Skype kicked you off. That's how bad it is.
Hey man, I got a scammer calling me. Okay, I can't help that. And I may not be great with technology, but this is how the AFC South is going to go down. As I was saying, Texans likely a 4-13 team. Then we go ahead and we go to the Jacksonville Jaguars. I actually think they are the most improved offense overall in this division. They're not the best offense in the division by any means, but they're the most improved. I really like the receivers they brought in that Nude already talked a little bit about. Zay Jones, I think this is finally his time to get a little shine. Yep. We'll see. They're still got some Marvin Jones as well, who knows that he's got the experience to hopefully coach some of these young guys up. I like Dan Arnold more, who's in the second string right now, than Evan Ingram. I think he actually may show up and turn into something that he kind of flashed when he was on the Cardinals the year before. The defense is still what it is, and that's what's going to ultimately hurt this team. I'm with Nude here. I think they can maybe get to 7 wins. If I'm a betting man, if it's a 7+, I might be tempted to put a little something on that. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to say 7-10. We're 1 win difference, Nude. 7-10 football team.
I don't know. 7 looks better than 6.
Who's going to be second in this division and just barely miss the playoffs due to just quarterback controversy, lack of leadership besides their head coach and variable. A King who seems to finally slip his crown because everybody's supposed to be impressed because he runs
up in the
off season. This is still a good team. They still got a good head coach. They still have, a decent running back for sure. Arguably the best running back in the league. Fine.
Arguably.
Wide receiver options are fucking trash. I don't care what you say. They are fucking trash. They got Woods in the list. Trash. Austin Hooper. Good fucking luck there. Titans, once again, Titans tight ends are going to be struggling as always. This defense, I still always love this defense.
You're so disrespectful, dude. You're so disrespectful.
Teams in this division have solid defenses. There is which the Titans are no stranger to, especially with Vrabel there with them. I've always been impressed. However, not going to cut it this year. It's not going to be enough. It's going to be a heartbreaking season for you, Kareem. You're going to have to join Nude. You're probably going to get those ropes. You're probably going to go pool in your garage and put it down and turn on the car and just see where things take you. You're going to be 9-8, and the Colts are going to emerge as the alpha of this division. That defense is, in my opinion, just a tier above yours. They are just extraordinarily impressive. They continue to get underrated and overlooked year after year. I mean, I don't understand how even some huge football fans don't know who DeForest Buckner is. They still don't know who he is. Still gets disrespected, in my opinion. Darius Leonard still gets disrespected, in my opinion.
What the fuck are you talking about?
They're not regarded
as
top defensive players in the league, which they absolutely are. Just signed Stephon Gilmore. That's a great signing. That's going to go ahead and patch up some of the holes they had. Let's not forget Mr. McLeod, who is one of the most experienced little safeties in the entire league. I love everything this team is doing. They bring in Matt Ryan. I think he is going to have a Stafford-like year. I don't think they're going to get to the Super Bowl, but I think they're certainly going to be a threat. I think he's going to
and you tell me the Alexander take was bad.
Jonathan Taylor surpasses King Henry and gets the crown. The Colts win the division, and Mo Alley Cox, by the way, has one of the best tight end seasons of all time. Watch, wait, and see. I know, I can see on your face you think that's way too wild of a take, and you're excited to go over there. I'll let you go in a second, Kareem, but I'm going to tell you right now, very accurate as can be. This is a 13-14.
Oh my! Okay, stop. All right, stop. Listen.
2 seed in the AFC.
Play
2 seed above the Chiefs, above the Bills.
Steve Austin theme song right
Suck
now.
Suck me from the back, if you like to say. Suck me hard
Steve
and long.
Austin with the beer spraying Vince McMahon and Dwayne The Rock Johnson, because you are about to get fucked. What you just said.
I am Steve. I'm Stone Cold.
You literally laid the ball
in this scenario. What? What you talking about? What?
All right,
motherfucker.
So, Joe, before I go, I want you to clarify on something that you said, because I want to make sure I'm clear before I go. What is one? Why do you think the Colts defense is underrated? And 2, what makes you think that they have elevated themselves? Okay, I hear you with Gilmore and old ass McLeod, but but what makes you think that they've elevated themselves to be a better defensive unit than the Titans were, who averaged 1 entire point per game better on defense last year than the Indianapolis Colts? So I want you to clarify that before I go in. I dive in.
I mean, I think you made my points for me, right? Like, Gilmore is, in my opinion, a proven leader. I think McLeod's going to add experience. Those gaps are now filled. I do think that DeForest and Darius are the most disrespected players in all of the NFL when it comes to defense.
Who are you talking to that's saying that?
I think this defense regularly gets ignored, and I think they're going to go ahead and be heard this year.
He talks to random people. I swear he's talking to a homeless person. Who says that? But anyways, go ahead, Karim.
What do you mean? I can do. Weren't those Colts players talking about? I can't remember who it was or what analyst it was, but they couldn't even name the Colts players on the defense. They get regularly disrespected, bro.
You want me to bring? Okay, you know what, Karim? I'm taking your time. Just go because I just can't with this right now. I will get him.
Go ahead and give your cute amateur take, Karim. Go ahead.
All right, let's start with the bottom of the division like you guys did, and I won't take up too much time there. Houston, you got Houston probably at the bottom of the division around that 4-win mark. Lovie Smith's all right. Davis Mills will continue to improve. They lost Tim Kelly to the Tennessee Titans, who I think is a massive loss. And a massive gain for the Tennessee Titans. Tim Kelly is the one who developed Deshaun Watson into what he is. And if you heard Deshaun Watson talk about Tim Kelly, he actually attributes, I mean, Deshaun Watson is a terrible human being, but he actually attributes what he became to Tim Kelly. And he did that same thing with Davis Mills, right? Davis Mills was able to grow because of what Tim Kelly brought to the table and what he was able to do with Davis Mills and with Brandon Cooks. My issue with them, again, is their defense. Like you said, Mike, they're scrappy, but they're still going to be in that 4-win range, and that's enough time on the Texans. The Jacksonville Jaguars, something that I want to mention, that you mentioned, Joe, they have the best wide receiver room in the division, and I actually don't think it's particularly close because there are some awful wide receivers in this division. Yeah. So I think with that improved wide receivers, the competent head coach who's not going to kick the kickers when they miss kicks, and Trevor Lawrence, I mean, just reset his rookie year, right? Like last year he was playing for, a pedophile and a weirdo and a creep. Right. So like just reset his rookie year. This is going to be Trevor Lawrence's real rookie year. He's going to do well. They're going to win 6 games. They might even surprise you and win even more than that if they can turn it on.
Yeah.
My issue with them still is their defense. Kalavon Chason hasn't become what he was supposed to become.
Yeah.
But they do have, Josh Allen, who actually is very good. So that's my issue with the Jaguars is there's still holes there. So I put them at 3rd. All right, now we can get into the top 2 and the meat of the discussion, right?
I wonder who
so let's start with the Colts, right? The Indianapolis Colts took. Let's look at what they've done the last 3 years, right? And what the offseason talk has been for the last 3 years. So year 1 back in the 2020 season, right? They bring in Phillip Rivers, right? Phillip Rivers actually does pretty well for them. Gets them close to winning the division. Gets them close to winning that playoff game in Buffalo, right? But Phillip Rivers at that point in his career couldn't throw 6 yards down the field. There's a reason he retired right after one season. Right and there's a reason that the Colts lost the division to the Tennessee Titans that year. Chris Ballard has been playing plug-and-play quarterback ever since he lost Andrew Luck. He hasn't been able to find the answer for someone who can get him into that double-digit win territory, for someone who can get him into the playoffs. He's just been playing plug-and-play. That's Phillip Rivers. Let's go to the next year with what we heard with Carson Wentz. Dan Orlovsky comes out and says, I think Carson Wentz could come out and, surprise people and win MVP. Okay, but you did the same exact thing that you just did with Phillip Rivers with Carson Wentz. Carson Wentz comes in. Carson Wentz does what Carson Wentz does. He loses the Colts were 96% to make the playoffs. 96% to make the playoffs last year. And Carson Wentz does what Carson Wentz does. He loses to the Jaguars at home, which I called Michael Shanuti, and they missed the playoffs. Pittsburgh Steelers benefit. They make the playoffs. Okay? Let's fast forward to this year. What does Chris Ballard do? I really fucked up that Carson Wentz thing. Let me see if I can find another plug-and-play quarterback. Matt Ryan's old and washed. Let's bring his ass in.
I'm surprised.
All right? And to you who thinks that Matt Ryan is going to be an improvement over Carson Wentz, go look at their stats last year. Matt Ryan had worse stats than Carson Wentz, and we know how bad Carson Wentz was last year. So my issue with the Colts is they have stuck to the same game plan for 3 years and expect different results. That's just not how the league works. If you continue to play plug and play quarterback, it's not going to work for you. They're still going to be in that 8-9 win territory. They're going to lose to the Tennessee Titans, which they do every year. And they haven't owned the division since Andrew Luck retired. I'm sorry. They haven't had a division title since 2014. Even in the later stages of Andrew Luck's career, they couldn't protect him, so he ended up retiring early, right?
Until the
because he didn't want to play anymore, okay? So because the Colts are still sticking to their same game plan, I have them at 9 wins, competing for the division with the Tennessee Titans. And then I get to my beloved Tennessee Titans, right? What have they done this year to improve? So
no clear leadership at QB.
So let's talk about the AJ Brown, right? And see what happened there. He no longer wanted to be part of this franchise. It's unfortunate. He wanted to move on. I think he didn't like the small market. Because I think the 25 million valuation is something that we would have offered and we would have got to that number. It's his camp that were the ones who said, okay, trade me. If you guys are willing to be okay with the trade, and because we got the value that we got, we ended up being okay with that trade valuation. And that's why in his press conference, he says, I was surprised they agreed to the trade. And the reason was at that point, the damage was done. He was asking for 80 million guaranteed. That wasn't going to happen. So it is what it is with that. I wish him nothing but the best. Our wide receiver room is tough, Joe. It's a tough wide receiver room. I'm not going to lie to you. We can't expect Treylon Burks to be what AJ Brown was. But we also can expect to not have to use 91 active players this year. That's not going to happen again. That was a fluke last year. We used 91 players and won the AFC, with 12 games. Coming back on defense, we're bringing back the probably best front four in the league, in my opinion. I mean, we got Bud Dupree. We have Danico Autry. We have my boy, my breakout candidate from last year. Go back and listen to the podcast, Jeffrey Simmons, one of the best defensive tackles in the league. And then we got Harold Landry, who we re-signed to that big contract extension. Those guys who got 9 sacks in the playoffs and almost carried Tannehill's ass to a playoff win with his 3 interceptions. I mean, it was absolutely incredible what they were able to do. I can't wait to watch this defense play. They drafted the young corner Roger McCreary to shore up that secondary. Caleb Farley's coming back off his ACL injury, and this defense is going to be able to compete to be a top 7 unit, in my opinion. And I think that's why I'm putting the Tennessee Titans at 11 to 12 wins above the Indianapolis Colts, probably 3rd in the AFC. And then we probably end up running into some issues because our offense isn't good enough in the playoffs. But this is a team that's going to compete very well in the AFC South. They're going to keep all games close because Mike Vrabel is our head coach and he is a schedule buster. If you mark winning next to Tennessee Titans, those are probably the ones that we're going to win. If you mark lose, those are the ones that we're probably going to lose as well because, as you know, we lost to the Jets last year. So that's my AFC South preview.
A lot of people are going to be losing the Jets this year.
And that's why I'm telling you, the Colts plug-and-play quarterback doesn't work. It just doesn't work. Go find yourself next year, and then maybe
I have a question. Is there a guy that was injured last year that probably could make your offense a little bit better?
Maybe a little bit. He a guy who just came off a 2,000-yard season, was on his way to another one. Will be coming back for us this year.
Oh, and then another question.
Who's that?
There's a guy who said some comments about a backup quarterback or a rookie quarterback, if you will. Was that taken out of context?
Our NFL debate.
We're going into the
well, there's a reason before we go.
The mentor gate that we've had to deal with. So let's dive into that. Let's dive into actually what happened. Right?
I just want to say one thing before you dive in.
Yeah.
The same shit happened to Ben Roethlisberger with Mason Rudolph, and look how dumb Mason Rudolph looks. I just want to say that, but just continue.
So there's a difference.
Preamble.
Go ahead.
We didn't talk about him too much. Neither of us. Actually, none. all three of us did not talk about good old plug and play Tanny that I decided to say for this segment. Said some comments, put it what you will, maybe put a little bit of the leadership into question in some people's minds. I think last year was just a really concerning year for him in general. You even agreed to that in certain points when you were on the show where you had some of those concerns. So let's dive into it. Let's go into the deep end. I think you'll be surprised on my take because I don't think we're going to be as conflicting as you think we may be. But go ahead.
So in regards to Ryan Tannehill, and let's first talk about Ryan Tannehill, the player, and then we'll talk about the mentor comments. Ryan Tannehill, the player, had a god-awful Cincinnati game, right? I mean, absolute putrid, like poop-ass game that you can throw in the garbage. He's the reason that we weren't playing in the Super Bowl against the Los Angeles Rams. He is absolutely to blame for what went down last year in the playoffs. I replay that third interception in my head probably about 5 times a day, and I don't think I'll ever I don't think I'll ever personally be over it. The fact that Ryan Tannehill, let me add this: the fact that after that game, all Titans fans included, the majority of them want Tannehill gone. All right, let's look at what happened before Ryan Tannehill came to this franchise. Do we want to go back to that 2-win team where we're starting the likes of Jake Locker, washed Matt Hasselbeck, Ryan Fitzpatrick? You don't just find quarterbacks that can play to an elite level. Ryan Tannehill did not have his slew of weapons for almost every game last year. He did have it in the playoffs, but for most of the year last year, he did not have 100% weapons. And a big thing that I didn't mention in my preview, I know you shat on Austin Hooper, but let me throw this back at you. As a blocker, Austin Hooper or Anthony Firkser? If you even know who Anthony Firkser is.
Yeah.
He has no idea.
Answer the question. Hold on.
Yes, I know who Anthony Firkser is.
Answer the question.
He was always on the bottom of the free agency and fantasy draft. He maybe had like
answer the question, Joe.
It's
a quick. Austin Hooper or Anthony Firkser as a blocker?
I feel like Firkser, right? Over Hoop.
Where did Firkser? Hey, okay. You know so much about Anthony Firkser. Where did he go to college?
I don't fucking know that.
Because he's bad. Yeah, because he's bad. That's why. That's why you don't know that. Because
he could block, though.
Okay.
I do remember he could block, and that's all he could do for you guys.
Austin Hooper or Anthony Firkser at catching the football?
I mean, Hoop, but that's not saying much, Kareem.
It is saying that he's a massive.
That's like saying who catches
what
the
we
football
have.
better.
That's the point that I'm making.
Either way, you don't want that.
If Austin Hooper is what Jonnu Smith was for us, how much better can our offense be this year? We had no tight end. We had 0 tight ends. Zero.
You got a rookie tight end who contributed.
Chick, baby. Get
Wasn't
chicky
that
with
the depth
it.
chart, though?
Yeah.
It was, so to get this straight, it was Jonnu Smith, and then the backup, if I remember correctly, was Fisker, right?
No, Jonnu Smith went to New England.
Yes.
Okay.
So Jonnu Smith was no longer on the team. Our starting tight end was Anthony Firkser.
Right.
The backup was Jeff Swain. All he could do is block. And even his blocking is bad. So bring in Austin Hooper, bring in Chig Okonkwo from Maryland. Oh yeah, I like our tight end room now.
I like how you're using
massively improved.
The Tannehill conversation.
The Tennessee
to talk about how
Titans
Hooper's
success,
kind of
the
better
Tennessee
than
Titans
Fisker.
success comes from the tight ends being good. Our last offensive coordinator, Arthur Smith. Who was he? Tight ends coach. Our current offensive coordinator, Todd Downing. Who was he? Tight ends coach. Our current passing game coordinator, who I didn't even mention, who's going to clean up all the bullshit that I saw in the playoffs, Tim fucking Kelly, developing Malik Willis and Ryan Tannehill. Oh, my gosh. Maybe we're going to have 14 wins. I don't even know. We're so
Listen,
good.
I think if you get Malik in there and start him right away, I think you're good to go.
He can't start him right away. He can't read a defense. He can't run an offense.
Hey, relax. The Liberty Flames offensive schemes were pretty complex.
Liberty's offense is worse than my backyard football game on Thanksgiving. Actually.
Bro, he doesn't understand that. He keeps
but we're not
Malik Willis is this shit and that shit. Bro, he is.
I understand they had a very basic package. I understand that the Liberty Flames had one of the most non-adaptive offensive schemes.
He can't read a defense, Joe. He can't read a defense.
I'm agreeing with you both.
No, you're not.
Yes, I am. I went off the bit and said he had one of the simplest schemes on the Liberty Flames, and it's going to take time for him to adjust. I agreed with you both. You're just talking to talk right now. I'm on the same page.
Last thing I want to say.
But we're away from the debate. We're not even on the debate anymore. You talked about the tight ends room for 5 minutes. We're not talking about the tight ends room. We're talking about the comments that Ryan Tannehill made about Malik Willis.
Now let me get to the comments that Ryan Tannehill made, right? I was going into why he was as bad as he was last year. But let me go into the comments that Ryan Tannehill made.
We don't need to hear the excuses. Let's talk the debate.
This guy's an ass. This guy, I'm gonna kill him for you.
Let's talk about the mentor comments, okay? What does a mentor mean, and how many mentors do you have in your life, right? I probably have maybe 1 or 2 mentors in my life. I've had probably tens of hundreds of people, I would say, who have helped me get to where I am in my career. But I've only had maybe 1 or 2 people who have truly, I can call a mentor. Now, is Ryan Tannehill going to ignore his ass in the meeting room and just give him wet willies all day? No, that's not what's going to happen. But is he going to truly be a mentor for him on and off the field? Like, a mentorship is a partnership where the mentor and the mentee both agree that they're putting a lot of time into this. That's not Ryan Tannehill's job. Ryan Tannehill's job is to get ready for Sundays and to go win me football games. His job is not to take care of the 21-year-old that was just drafted. I have no problem with his comments, and it does not reflect poor leadership on him. And there was actually a press conference this week with our offensive coordinator who said having Ryan Tannehill is a luxury for Malik Willis.
I mean, like I said at the beginning of this debate, I kind of set the questionable leadership up just to set the debate up, but we're not as conflicting on this as you may think. I actually 100% agree with you. I don't know why we went down the rabbit hole of the tight ends room, but I feel like you felt a little insecure about that. That's fine. I agree. I did a little bit. Malik Willis should start. Obviously not. He had one of the simplest offensive packages with the Liberty Flames, and it's going to take a lot of time for him to adjust. I believe he will with a couple years of development. With all that being said, I think the comments, one, it's been Ryan Tannehill came out and said that's not what I meant at all. People go ahead, it's the off season, we're going to blow shit up. I think the best take I heard, which is not normally where you hear great takes, is first take, where Marcus Spears, who I never agree with, came out and said, look, in kind of what you're saying, Kareem, you don't think he's going to go ahead and be with him in the film room? You don't think they're going to go ahead and get dinner together and be everywhere together, be in the QB room, going ahead and running drills, taking thoughts, this, that, and the third? That is what that's Tannehill's mentorship. That is it right there. Outside of that, that's your job. That's Ryan's job. He's not going to want to give that up. These are alphas. These are 1% of the best football players in the whole entire world. And you're going to be competitive as hell. You're not going to let that go regardless. You earned that job, and that is totally understandable. Regardless if somebody's coming for nude spot at work, coming for your spot at work, it's the same kind of thing. I'm going to teach the green guy up. I'm going to go ahead and show him the ropes a little bit, but you best believe you're not going to take my swim school. It's the same kind of thing here with football. It's the same thing in life. It's to blow those comments up. We're just bored in the off season. We're on the same page there 100%. Do I think Tannehill is new and improved tight end rooms going to help him out? No, I do not.
So my point to this, and I'll keep it brief because you guys both said it correctly. Tannehill, basically, somebody said it, you can lead a horse to water, but you cannot make him drink. AKA Tannehill can teach him all the different things that he knows.
Cliche.
It is Malik's job to prove that he's better than Tannehill. But Tannehill's job is to make sure Malik never sees the field. AKA, we've seen it with Brett Favre and Aaron Rodgers. Aaron Rodgers could have started 3 years before he did. But because Brett Favre was Brett Favre and he kept doing what he was doing, making playoffs, breaking records, doing all these different things, Aaron Rodgers sat for a while. Now, there are situations where...
Favre was a little different case, though. He definitely was a dick to Aaron Rodgers.
Well, I'm more so saying for that part. But I don't see Ryan Tannehill being the type of guy that if Malik was like, what do you do here for a cover two? he's going to be like, figure it the fuck out. No, Ryan Tannehill is going to tell him, and he's going to be like, you need to do this correctly. It is your job. Now that you know that there's a guy behind you, you're going to, like Karim said, it's not mentorship if you're in this film room and he asks questions, because guess what? There's a coach in there too. The coach will tell him what to do. It doesn't have to be just you, but you guys are conversing. I know Ryan Tannehill is going to have questions. Malik's going to soak that up. Malik's going to hear what Vrabel has to say. It's not just Tannehill, and it shouldn't be just Tannehill. And Tannehill's job is to do what Karim said. It's to get this team back to the playoffs, prove to him and everybody around him that wasn't a fluke, that what happened was the 91 active players, and if they had maybe down to maybe 60 or 70 players, they would have won that game. And if he didn't make bonehead mistakes, that's it. And I cannot agree more, because Ben had the same problem with Mason. Mason's an idiot, as we can see. So Ben was correct this entire fucking time. So if you want to look at past
history, a little different story there too.
Hey, Mike, chill on the Mason stuff. He's competing for a starting role here.
Okay, they couldn't even put my man on the graphic. They couldn't put the man on the graphic. The girl.
There's 3 quarterbacks there. They're all competing for that number 1 spot.
I swear. No, literally, I had the best tweet. It was the Judge Judy going like this, smashing the table. It's like me waiting for the news of Mason Rudolph getting released. I'm waiting. I am just waiting, because I'm going to rejoice. I don't want to hear
You're carrying 3 quarterbacks. Stop
4 quarterbacks. We have 4. We have 4 on the. We drafted one in the 7th round.
Yeah, and the one that's getting cut is not going to be Mason. They love Mason. You're the only one that hates him.
Mason's gone. I'll cut him myself.
Most likely starting quarterback.
I will come in with a Myles Garrett mask. I'll come in with a Myles Garrett mask with a helmet, scare him the shit out of him to get him out of fucking Pittsburgh. Fuck him. It's going to be Mitch Trubisky or baby hands Kenny Pickett. I'm ready to rock. And guess what? By the way, if we really want to be honest, the guy that's looking real good in training camp, my boy Najee, 244 pounds. My man's looking like a beast. And please. That's our show before.
Listen, that might be our longest show ever. Don't get started on the Steelers rant now.
I love it. We'll talk about that later. But thank you guys for tuning in. This is Face of the Franchise. Please like, download, and subscribe on Spotify, iTunes, wherever you get your podcasts. Also, we're on YouTube. Hit the follow button and listen to all the other podcasts as well. I like to give a shout out to our sponsors, one being Eyesight, mobile eyewear company. That is Eyesight with an I. Go follow them on Instagram for their new line, as well as their website. They have sunglasses, prescription glasses, whatever you need, as well as Stuck Up.
You need those sunglasses. Summer's here.
Exactly. Stuck Up Clothing Corporation, Instagram, Twitter, Facebook. Go find their new summer line. Go find their new stuff. Follow them. Tell them the Face of the Franchise boys sent you, as well as Seductions by Jax.
What?
Money can buy, baby.
Beautiful.
And Seductions by Jax. Go get your hair done, your nail done, whatever you need to do. She's getting booked up, by the way. So get on her IG, get what you need to do. I know it's wedding season coming soon, as well as this episode is brought to you by Smooth My Balls. Get your shaver for down there. It is summertime. You don't want to have hair coming out of your swimsuit. So use 4CR20. That's the number.
It's when damage can get the
4CR20.
worst. Trim up, boys.
Get the money off. I am the Pharaoh. That is Little Joe. And Karim, I can't thank you enough for coming on the show. Thank you for talking Titans football. We will definitely have you in for a mid-season kind of review, see where we are with everything. So
it's good to have him on and get a little energy and actually real football takes on this podcast to compete with mine a little bit. When you're sometimes you feel like there's an anchor bringing him down. I'm not mentioning anyone in particular.
I don't know
but it's just nice to have some fresh energy here.
And have a Anthony Berkshire is better than Hooper, and Matt Ryan is going to have a Matthew Stafford type.
I didn't say
the fuck is that?
I didn't say
no, Joe. My favorite one is the DeForest Buckner and Darius Leonard are underrated.
Exactly.
That's
my fault.
Great
take. They are all pros. All pros. AP all pros,
underrated,
bro. All pros.
Underrated, boys. God. You control all you want.
Breezy,
underrated.
Stay easy. One love.
Take care, guys. Thanks for having me.
We can talk about the Titans room for 20 or Titans tight end room for 20 more minutes.